Hello guys, it's Piston at 184, and today I'm going to be showing you guys another YouTube video of my Lego build. So, I made the first episode of the chassis. That's the entire black thing at the bottom, which is under the crane. And so, I got a few comments from Beverly Lake 885, and they give me, or not they, but yeah, they gave me an idea to make a Lego excavator. So, thank you. That is actually a pretty great idea. I will think about that. And I also got a comment by Wylish Oder 2431. I hope I'm saying it right. And they just asked me to continue the build. So, from the last video, which was, I think, the chassis, I forgot to make steps or like film the body and the rest of how I built it. So I finished building it, and after that I kind of forgot about it, which is not good, but I forgot about it. And today I finally just realized I should have made it like pretty long ago. So as you can see, there's the snowcats, and the snowcats is you guys can see the size comparison, and so that's how big the snowcat is compared to the crane. It's pretty small, but it's still pretty good. So move that aside. So I'll just show you guys how some of the things what things are there. So here you guys can see this big black panel. If I take that off, there are a few internal components right here. So there are a few cables. There's the IR receiver, which the control where the signal gets where the signal gets taken from the controller. That's sorry. Yeah, and so yeah, I have a motor in there which turns from this plate, which is like the turntable. I'm gonna turn it on. Control here. So in there you guys might see, yeah, that's a great thing right there in the back. That is a motor, and if I can turn it right now. Yeah, so that's the motor. It turns the entire crane. It's pretty cool. It's actually worked into the frame, or like it has a lot of attachment points, which are only at the like orange part there, if you can see the bit of orange. It's not a real Lego motor, sadly, because Lego motors were discontinued, or this type of Lego motors were discontinued in like 2016, and this one costs like $50, and I don't want to really spend that much on a Lego motor, so a bit of Temu got me something like this. You guys can see the red and blue. The red should be I have it here. Yeah, the blue should be the turning. No, the red is the turning, and the blue is this component, which makes this go. It lifts the entire arm up and down, and we'll get to that later. I just want to show the internal components. So the battery boxes are stationed here on this, like just right here on the side, so they're easily able to detach and switch out the batteries. They have a few connecting points, so it's easily to take out. I'm gonna finish this side. Here you guys can see the turning. This is usually a turntable for small excavators. It's also on the other side. There's a beam connecting it so it's more stable. And it holds the entire crane arm. And I got the idea from the Lego Liebherr LR13000. Here you guys can see a front view where maybe you can see it. That's the IR receiver, the orange thing, the green light. And there's the other IR receiver, which I had to put sideways because of what's on the other side. So, yeah, so that's this side. Let me just slowly turn this. I have some more connection beams. I accidentally took this one off. Here you have the driver's cab. That was actually on my old, like not old, but on the crane before this, because I actually add a lot of different crane mocks or designs, and so this cab is actually from the crane before. And here is another detachable panel. I might have my finger in the way, but so you guys can take, so I can take this off. Oh, and also this has a staircase and a swivel chair for 360-degree view like this. So that's pretty good. And it has a light. I also put it really good in there, so it's kind of hard to put out. Yeah, so that's the entire panel. This is the panel for the other side. This is for this side. And so you can see here, this is the IR receiver. I had to put it there sideways because of these motors. These motors are actually control everything except the turntable. The big one controls the movement of both of the sections. So it goes. So wait, gotta take it. So this controls the functions of this. So it controls that. Here's a view of it. Yeah, so that's the function for that. Here I have it's off the spool. There we go. Here we have this motor. Actually, these should be, no, this one's not real Lego. It doesn't have the logo. But these two are real Lego because I have no other ones. I actually have two more real Lego ones. So I have 4 of these, but 2 are on this, and the other 2 are on the snowcats, right under these panels. So those are the 2, you can see. And they have the gears here and here, which this one controls these 2 spools, and this one connects only to this one. But even though that's, then it has to be stable, and it has the gear that goes all the way through. So it's more stable like that. Here, this one has this string going over this pulley. Well, it's because it wouldn't have enough clearance, I think. Or no, it's better like this, because then the rope is more elevated and actually can get better to this pulley, and this on the end connects to this big guy. So something like this, or here you can see. So that controls that. There we go. And next we have this motor. So I thought about, so this was one of the hardest parts on the other crane, because I thought about this. I watched a few YouTubers that actually built this, and the real LR13000 from Lego, and I saw this configuration, but I only had one of these strings, and so I couldn't do this, and so these control the crane arm right there. I can go from the setting from here. It has some issues. It needs to be under more weight so the string can actually let it go up and down. Now it's going down. Now it's going up. Yeah, you guys can see how it's uneven. it's pretty much the biggest issue on this, but sometimes it's like this, but sometimes it can go perfectly. Here you guys can see, it goes up and down. And yeah, so these are all connected to this type, this one beam on the side, one in the middle, and another one on the side right here. And so it's better for being stronger, and it holds all together. And it's honestly pretty much way better than the one on my other crane before this one, because I had, let me show, I still have the base plates. I had these base plates, and what I had was, these are all pinholes, and it would just go into the pinhole, all the motors, like it had a mounting point from the bottom, and it would just stick in there. Well, the problem was, when the string was pulling the motor, or when the motor wasn't strong enough, it would just, no, not really the motor, but when there was a heavy load, it would just pop out. So what I did is, from the side, here you guys can see, I mounted it like this upwards, like this, and then the axles were connected, like, so here was like the axle for the spool and connected to the motor, and then here were just 2 bars, but it was also unstable and it was bending, so that was pretty bad. And so I also got this idea from the Lego LR13000. Here on the other side is the other turntable, like the other side. I already said that. This IR receiver is actually mounted sideways because of this motor. Because if it was normally 90 degrees this way, then the side would be hitting this, and this wouldn't have enough clearance for this, and honestly, it would just not fit. So that's why I put it sideways. I had some problems putting actually all the cables, because the IR receiver had to go from the inside. Actually, when I built all of the motors in, then I had to put in all the cables. So this had a cable that went all the way here, but the motors had cables that went here. So I had to, well, kind of like my technique is where I took a stick, let's say something like this. It was longer, of course. It was like a 15-hole one, but I'll take it, instead of here, I'll have a pin connector, or like to normal Lego bricks, I'll put it onto the attachment of it, and I'll just pull it through, attach it, and I'll pull these ones through, attach it. And so it was like the Lego technique to normal Lego adapter pin. So that's how I did it. Here, there's more of the superstructure in there. These actually, it was pretty hard to go onto a superstructure design, because first of all, it had to be strong, and I didn't know if it should be on the outside, like here. There's mostly superstructure on the outside because of the crane arm and all of the motors, but because of the motors, it had to, at one point, just be inside, and I just kept on the design, which now connects to here. These are just extras, so when I have more counterweights, it's strong. Not really. So I could have more area for the counterweights, and this was just a middle beam which connected to this rod that went up, and to this, and also to this. It also was connecting this rod to this, which was actually the rod to hold the counterweight. This is to hold the body, so it wasn't under stress, like just stress. And here I just put a stick from this end to the other and just connected it, because it didn't really need to be supported by this superstructure, but really by this. So all the way it went to here, or like it had more leverage for the arm than to be leveraged by here, but it still has some strong mounting points, so it doesn't fall off. Here we have these. I thought it would be useful, but it really isn't. It kind of works, I think. Also, forgot about this. This is a stick, so when the arm isn't putting stress on this arm, the secondary arm, then it would like keep it from falling back, and most likely put like laying on the spool and maybe damaging it. It was also on, I just saw off of YouTube, and I put this in here so it's stronger. So that, I hope, was mostly the body. I used some new parts for this crane, like for example this part. It was new. I actually decided to use it. It's pretty nice. For the bottom here, I actually also used some new parts. It's this kind of like long one. It's also Technic. It's pretty nice. Here's the ring that you guys saw in the first video. In the middle, I have, oh, and also this connects to these. If you might not so, I might find it in my Lego collection. It uses this part, but with also, oh yeah, it's this part. It's this part on both sides, because it's actually better than the axle, because it could break the axle. So I also got this. I also stole this design off of the Lego Liebherr 13,000, LR 13,000. It's connected to this, which is connected to this, which is connected to this. So it's also the beams that are here and go back there, and this one also goes there. They would bend. So what I did is I put in there this piece, and they actually sit on this beam right here. It's actually this type of beam. It sits on this, which this actually then sits on the internal. Inside there's this thing. There's this ring, or there inside is this, and it sits on this. So this entire thing just sits on this, which is in the middle, down there. And so it's way stronger, and it makes the thing way more stable. So now we get to the crane arm. Here, I couldn't use the normal, like something like this, because it would be not strong enough. And so I also stole this. I also stole this from the LR 13,000, which is made by Lego, and advanced it by a few blocks. Well, just one Lego Technic beam, but how it's wider, then it's stronger. And so from the base, I have these rods, which hold this crane arm. So technically, it's a triangle. And so if you learned in class, you know that the triangle is the strongest structure, In second place is the hexagon. But yeah, the triangle is the strongest structure, and it's not really that this is stationary, or like it's all connected to each other like equally. This, because of this weight, that's also a triangle. This weight pulls on this, like, thingamajig, and it pulls onto this. This is also not stationary. If I pull it like this, I can pull it, and that is just not good. So it pulls on this, but it also pulls on this. So technically, this weight is being, so the weight is pushing this, which pushes down, but it's also pulling this beam, which pulls this beam. And so there's, I have no idea how to explain this, but all of the like weight is being pulled by here, which is like the center, which is really like the center. So it's also from the LR 13,000 from Lego idea, but it's actually something that real cranes use, and it's actually pretty strong for the big structures and for it to all hold together. Here, this is the the two rods that go up to here. This holds from this crane arm to not fall, which also holds all of this thing. And it has a pulley system here, pretty big one. I actually did not use these kinds of pulleys because I actually ran out of them. So I used these ones. They're also pretty good. And I totally did not have like 10 times in a row where the string actually broke, because the string was made of, like, the entire string from this is actually made from two parts, so it can be longer. I had a few problems with that because I got really mad. So I decided to make a knot and with a lighter, like weld like the string together, which is actually like like plastic. It's not a natural material, so it kind of like welds together easily. So that holds to here. The farthest point so has more leverage. Here you can see this extends out more than, like, just extends out more. On the real Lego crane, here these two are connected like completely. I made it longer, so the pulley system or the pulleys just have more leverage on this heavy crane arm. And here I actually also extended it, but because of this design, I couldn't. But with this design, it was a bit easier to make it. So that went good. Here I have, you guys can just see, I have a few of these pulleys, which goes down to the frame and it goes all the way back to the spools. This, I hope I don't need explaining. It holds to here, not to the very end. So it's mostly held earlier, not to the fully end, because just so this thing doesn't just like bend that much. Here, I'm too small for this. Here, you guys can see the top. I cannot. I hope you guys understand that. And here's the crane hook. This is actually also from the crane before. It's pretty good. I copied the top portion off of the Lego LR13000, and the bottom, like the hook and stuff, I just designed myself because I was too lazy to watch the rest of the building video so I can learn how to make it. Also, I just wanted to make it more unique. So that's the entire crane. As you can see, it's pretty nice. Here you guys can see there are some batteries. It's not that I have a messy room. I kind of do, but it's because they're the counterweights. These are some Duracell and Energizer. I'm not sponsored by them, so okay. But they're pretty good counterweights. They have a lot of weight. I put the tape on the other end, so on the other ends, because when we were shipping them from US to here, then so they don't just like short out when they were touching each other or some other component. So yeah, I have two more, so in together 6. And here, these are 2 battery boxes. These are from the newer Lego Technic electro electric configuration. So this is the 2-hole, and it has these switches. That's the other one. And here's the hub. Oh yeah, they're named hubs. So this is the manual hub, and this is the electric hub. No, this is the mobile hub. And it has more ports, and you can connect it to your electronic. This one you have to do manually with some switches. And so they're also pretty heavy, and I use them as a counterweight. This baskets I actually used for my old crane. It was actually also built with the old crane. I wanted to use a different configuration where these weren't bent, but just straight, and have another pair on the other side so it can be more clean. But yeah, I ended up with this because I didn't have these parts. So I just didn't want to make it more ugly, and I didn't have the same color of like plates. So I just went with this. It was also easier. So now I can show you how it runs and what it can pick up. And so I'm just gonna take the battery box, put inside the batteries. And so I use them as counterweight because the crane is pretty heavy, so. Oh, also, at the bottom, there are these rollers. These rollers are also used in the Lego LR13000, and I have this beam so they're more stable. So the counterweights don't hit the ground, and also so the rest of the weight doesn't just make this, like, so it doesn't bend the frame, but it's also to rest on, so they're pretty good. Okay, so I can take my controller, put on back these. Oh, these panels, they're actually pretty nice. I actually decided to use them for the first time for like the body or like just for decoration because no. But like when it's nicer, this is, for me, it's nicer. You guys can decide if this is nicer or this is nicer. I think this is nicer because it makes a more clean look. You guys can vote and decide. Just tell me what you guys think is nicer, so just decide or just tell me. I would like to know what you guys think. This one's also way more trickier, so because it has more connection points. Like this. Other side. There we go. Okay, so okay then. Extra piece, that's good. So I will show you guys what it is capable of. So this is, I already have the bottom turned on, so this should be the bottom. Stop. So for this crane, it moves the entire body. It takes a bit longer to turn side to side. It uses the worm gear configuration, as I showed you guys in the last video. So that works, surprisingly, for its ginormous weight. It can... Oh no, my B-17. I can turn it... I can try to turn it across my entire room. It's not really that big. Oh, but also the signal's not that strong, so need to like... Oh, that's the wrong way. I would have more room if... So, kind of... It turns... and is bullying now my B-17. Jeez. There we go. So, it turns. You guys can see that the crane hook is having a nice time on there. Oh, I forgot. We should actually add in there Bob. This guy was sitting in the first snowcat for the last 3 years. So why don't we torture him even more in this configuration? Let's just put him on there. He's having a nice day, getting a suntan. There we go. And his work clothes. Here we go. So yeah, it turns pretty fast. And even though it wobbles, it actually holds really well because it has a wider rotating belt. Could say that. So the bigger, it just has more stability. Let's turn it back. So it's also pretty big. At the end of the video, I'm gonna like to measure how much it weighs and how much is in height. So I'll get those instruments to measure it. So okay, so here it's going to be, wait, no. So the one that's sideways, which is the left one, is actually not that responsive to the IR receiver. So the back is slowly lifting up. Oh no, Billy Bob over there is not. I think I need to erase it. Now it works. The crane arm. That should be enough. Wait. So let's go lower. Let's go. So here it's going to slowly lift because of how heavy the crane arm is. Oh, it's already touching the wall. See? Communistic apartments are not good. Yeah, it's so stupid. There we go. Let's put it on those cables. So yeah, it can go lower, but not all the way to the ground because I had a bit of cable shortage. So that it'll go to like kind of this kind of angle, and more like of this kind of angle. No, it'll go to like this kind of angle, and it isn't really touching the ground how I wanted it to, so I can rest like the real cranes, but it's still enough to go like pretty low. So that's, you guys saw that. So let's lift it up. You guys are gonna hear the motor torture. Let's let it off a bit. There we go. So now let's test this part. So this motor is the medium motor, not the large motor, and it's not that strong, but it handles it pretty nicely. So okay, so that's the full equivalent. So at this height, let me get my meter. So at this height, it measures. So the top part measures 1 meter 36 centimeters, and at the crane tip, let's say here, 1 meter 26 centimeters. So it's pretty tall, considering how small I am. And Yeah, I'm just gonna put it here. And so that's pretty tall. It can do pretty much a lot. I'm going to make another video of how much it can, like, how much load it can hold. So let's pull it back up. Yeah, so the motor is again screaming. It's because of this weight right here, of how this entire crane arm weighs. So it has to move like this part. So let me show you how it's working. Yeah, I also took off this pulley design from the LR13000. Sometimes the good things you can notice is when you're doing something else. Wait, I'm just gonna put my controller here. As you can see here, this part of the string right here is supposed to be on the pulley. What is it on now? It's on the axle. And we don't want that. So let me take it here. No, I just put it on the other side. Okay, it's on there, and here, it's also on. Is it? Oh yeah, it is. So, just gonna take my controller, and we can work again. So, as it's struggling here, it's also struggling down here. So it's moving like from like here. So that's enough. Yeah, as you can hear, that's the gears slipping. It's not the best, but okay. So I'm gonna measure now the height of the entire crane at max length that it could physically go to. So I'm just gonna pull out the entire meter. So let me just so from 150 97. So so 150 plus 97. So I got to think about that. 2 meters and 47. So it's 2 meters and 47 centimeters tall. Yeah, 2 meters and 47 centimeters tall. So, or in feet. Wait, I have an electronic next to me, so I can use its knowledge. So, 1 slash. So for you short kings, it's 4.82 feet. It's pretty tall. So that it's pretty nice. It's is nice vibrant yellow. You guys can see that here it's gray, here it's black. So that's the entire crane. I'm gonna quickly run and get the weight. Because so yeah, I'm gonna, thank you for holding. I got the weight. So let me just calibrate it. Calibrate. Okay, so put on there the crane. So that weighs 5.4 kilograms. So I think the maximum weights I think it could weigh is 6 to 6, I think so. So this is with the counterweight for the entire crane. With max load, which I think the motor can lift, it'll go to 5 point, I think maybe to 6 kilograms. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment anything else I could try building, like the excavator. And this is pretty much it. Next builds. Okay, so yeah, just comment whatever you guys want. Tell me if you guys like the panels on or off. If you guys want more details, then comment, and I will make another video of how much it can lift, and how loud it can cry with the motors on. So, thank you for watching this video, and have a nice time. Bye!